Hi boys and girls, and welcome to our third STEAM lesson. Now you've probably already guessed that this week we're going to focus on science. So today get your scientist jackets on because you're going to be my scientists for the day. Earlier on in the week your teacher would have posted all the things that you need on your teams, so I hope you've managed to gather it all in together. I've got all mine here and we can get started. Okay, now today you would have got a worksheet to go with today's lesson. If you manage to print that off, then super. If not, please don't worry, you can write it up in your jotter or on a sheet of paper, but it is important to keep a record. All good scientists keep a record of their work, going through an experiment, each stage of the experiment, so please keep on top of it, and I'm going to take you through that today as we're doing our experiment. Now the first part is a box with lots of really tricky words in it. Now I'm not going to home in on those words just now, because as we go through this lesson you're going to find out what each of those words mean. You might know some of them already, which is super, but if not, then I'm going to take you through them today. Now every good science experiment starts with a question, and today I decided to do this experiment because one of my favourite fruits is an apple, and I cut this apple maybe about 2 hours ago, and look how brown it's became. Doesn't look very tasty. And I started thinking, what could I do to stop an apple from turning brown? And that's your question to start our experiment today. It actually comes in 2 parts, and it says, what can I do to stop an apple turning brown, and which apple tastes best? So we're going to go through that question today. We're going to try different things, and then at the very end we're going to come to a conclusion. Okay? So, as I said, I love an apple, but when I chop it up, it always goes brown. And I'm trying to think of ways that can stop that from going brown. Now, the reason why an apple goes brown is because when we cut it, we're damaging it. We're breaking that outer skin. So you might have a bashed apple that's starting to go brown, and that's called oxidation. Very tricky word, oxidation. And when any fruit starts to go brown, that is what we call oxidation. And the reason why that happens is because we've burst outer core and the air is getting to our apple. The oxygen in our air is making this turn brown. And remember that tricky word, oxidation. You're a scientist today, so we have to use scientist words. So when an apple or any fruit turns brown, it's called oxidation. And we're going to try and find something that stops it from turning brown. Okay? So, next part, we ask the question, what are we going to do? Now, I'm going to take you through it just now. When you're writing it up, it's up to you. You can either write it out step by step like you would do in your taught writing lesson, or you can draw diagrams. But remember to number the diagrams so that when you look back or you want to share this experiment with someone, it's numbered. Okay, so first of all, I've got my 4 glasses here, and I've labelled each glass. This one says plain water, salt water, sugar water and orange juice, and I'm going to pour some water all the way up. Now I use clear glasses so that you could see what was going on, and I use quite big ones so that I could fill the water up. Okay, now I'm going to fill this last one here with orange juice. Alright, and move that to the side. This one I'm going to leave plain water. I'm going to put some salt in that there, so that's going to stay plain. Here I'm going to put my salt water in, so I'm going to use 2. Because I've got so much water, I'm going to put 2 teaspoonfuls of salt. 1, 2. Okay, well done. And in this one, I'm going to put 2 teaspoonfuls of sugar. Alright, well done. Now I'm going to cut 5 segments from my apple. I'm going to cut 5 parts. Now, boys and girls, you might ask an adult to do this part for you, or if you're doing it on your own, be very, very careful with a sharp knife and make sure that your mum or dad are observing you doing this. Okay, so I'm going to cut here. And look how lovely and white my apple is compared to this one that I cut 2 hours ago. Okay, so I'm cutting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to put 1 in each, and I'm going to keep 1 to use as a comparable. Okay, and I'll get back to that in a little minute. So that, keep 1 to that, 1 to the side. And when I put my apple into my glass, I'm going to put a lid on top. Now, I've used one of the coasters that I use at the dinner table, but you might have paper or you might have something else. So as soon as it goes in, I want to put my lid on top. So I'm going to put 1 in here, 1 in here, 1 in here, and this one in here. And I'm going to leave them in there for 3 minutes. Now, boys and girls, I'm going to use my Alexa to set a timer. You might use your phone, or you might use your watch. Okay, boys and girls, that's my 3 minutes up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off each, and I'll just use the same little tag, and I'm putting it onto a plate. Okay, so this is my plain water. This one here is my salt water. I'll take that one out. This one here is my sugar water. And this one here is my orange juice. Now, if you don't have orange juice, if you have apple juice or pineapple juice, then that's fine. I just said a fruit juice. Okay, I had orange juice in the fridge. Okay, so on my plate now I have my 4 pieces of apple. Now, in the middle I have left a piece that wasn't in any water or any with anything in it. And this is my comparable, boys and girls. So I'm going to leave that in the middle, and you can hear the word compare in your comparable, and that means that that's there for you to compare what it would look like if it wasn't soaked in any of the things that we soaked our apple in for 3 minutes. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is write your hypothesis. Now, you might be thinking, what is a hypothesis? And a hypothesis is a sensible guess. So you think, which apple will keep its white colour for longer? Okay. Then for number 4, you're going to record your results. Now, I've drawn up a little table on your sheet that you can use. And what I want you to do is, after 3 minutes, record what you could see, write a wee note in each box. Then after 1 hour, and then after 2 hours. And if you want to continue checking as the day goes on, then you can. Now, at the very end of our experiment, we have to write our conclusion. And we all are used to the word conclusion through our story writing and through our reading books. And it's the same for a science experiment. It's like a roundup of what you found out. Now, you might find that the comparable kept the best colour, but I'm not sure you will, because I can see already that it's starting to change colour, and that's only really been about 4 or 5 minutes now out. So at the end, once you've finished your record and keep a close eye on it, then you can write up your conclusion. And to write up your conclusion, children, you have to go back to your question. And remember, our question had 2 parts, and that involves you tasting. So you can go around, if you don't want to taste the comparable, then I totally understand. I don't really like eating brown apples, but you might decide which one tastes best. Okay, so thank you primary 4, 5, 6 and 7 for joining me today. I hope you all have fun in your science experiments, and I'm looking forward to seeing all your conclusions. if you post it onto your teams, and I'll have a good look at them there. Thank you.